Hello and welcome back to my introduction to natural mindfulness. I'm glad you're still with me. I'm glad that you're interested and intrigued maybe, or just curious to find out a little bit more about natural mindfulness. And as I said on the last video, this first part of the process is what I call the preparation. It's kind of where we tune in to nature more. But before I start any of my natural mindfulness walks, either for myself or if I'm leading a group, guiding a group, one of the first things we do is we find our breath. And breathing is so important to us for obvious reasons. That's one of the reasons we know we're alive, is because we're breathing. But if we're going to start to practice paying attention, I think something that we don't pay a lot of attention to but is vitally important to us is probably a good place to start, and that's why I think so many other health and well-being based practices like yoga or Pilates or martial arts focus on breathing. And I think probably our ancestors and people before us knew more about the power of breath than maybe we know today in the modern world. Our focus is very much more on what's going on in our minds and what we know and technology, rather than on some of the basic building blocks of life, for instance breathing. And so I have a really lovely exercise for you that I really enjoy doing and really does prepare me for a natural mindfulness experience. And it's all about breath, and it comes in three parts. The first part is finding your breath. And what I mean by that is our breath is unique to us. How we breathe is how we breathe. You try breathing at the same rate as somebody else breathes, and you'll find that it's not comfortable. It's like putting someone else's jacket on or putting somebody else's shoes on. They might be the same size as your shoes, but they're not your shoes. They don't fit you. And we have, I think, a unique breath. So the first thing to do is find your breath. And you do that by just taking a deep breath in. There it is. I found it. So the first part of this is just finding a breath, and that's it. That wherever you are, in whatever place you're in, that breath you take in is your breath. So finding your breath is so simple. Finding your breath is simply breathing in. That's my breath now. The second part, once you've found your breath, is to stay in breath for a few seconds. I'm sure deep divers can go minutes, but this isn't a competition. This isn't about how long can you hold your breath. This is purely about find your breath and stay in breath for a few seconds. Stay with it. Because actually what's happening with that breath is the oxygen in that breath is going into your body just as food does, just as fluid does. We pay so much attention and spend so much money on what we eat and what we drink. And, sometimes it doesn't do us a lot of good. Sometimes we eat food that isn't good for us. We drink things that aren't good for us. And sometimes even when we know that, we do that. For me, breathing, though, is free. You can breathe whenever you want. And it does us so much good, particularly if you're out in a beautiful place like this, if you're out in nature where, these plants are actually breathing in carbon dioxide and breathing out oxygen, lovely oxygen. So when I find my breath and I stay in breath, I'm taking breath that's been given to me from nature. So it's a great way to start connecting to the natural world. So the first part is to find your breath, stay in breath for a few seconds. And the third part then is to release your breath. One of the things that's wonderful for being mindful or being naturally mindful is releasing tension, releasing stress, releasing thoughts, releasing. And we hold so much tension in our bodies, and we can start to learn to release a lot of that tension with this simple practice of releasing breath. You'll notice that sometimes when you're frightened or you're very tense or when you're very frustrated, you will hold our breath. We hold on to our breath and don't even realize that we're holding it. Sometimes if you're doing something quite difficult or something you're doing for the first time, you can catch yourself holding your breath. The key, and as people who've done yoga and Pilates will know this, the key to relaxation and rest is to release. So find your breath, stay in breath for a few seconds, and be grateful for that breath, for what that breath is doing to your body, for the nourishment, and be grateful for that and acknowledge that. And then release. And I like to visualize that when I'm breathing in a connection to nature. I'm holding it, I'm nourishing it, not nourishing it, what's the word? I'm actually savoring it, like with food. I'm really, really savoring it, taking all the goodness out of that breath. And then I'm releasing all the toxin, I'm releasing all the stress, I'm releasing all the anxiety maybe, or the worry, or the anything else negative within me, I'm releasing that. So find your breath, stay in breath, and then release your breath. So my challenge to you, because there's always a challenge at the end of these videos now, as we're going through, you'll find there's a challenge to you. My challenge to you is that you go out and you take maybe a 5 to 10 minute little walk somewhere very peaceful with some nature in it. It doesn't have to be lost in nature like I like to get, but it could be a park, could be a garden, could be on your way to work. But as you're just walking, find your breath. As I said, it's unique to you and it's everywhere. There's mine. Hold on to it, stay with it, be grateful for it, and then release it. And as you release it, notice how your whole body releases too, and maybe even that some of the things you are holding in your mind release with that breath as well. So that's my challenge, to go out and practice that, and then please come back and share it. It's a really important part of this program that you share either on the Facebook group, or you share with me in an email, or you just share with friends and family. And the important thing is you share, because when we share things, we remember them and we embed them almost in our neurology, in our bodies, by sharing. And that's I think that's why people teach, by the way, because by learning something and then teaching it, you kind of really get to know it and understand it. So it's really important that you, in order to learn, that you do share this as well. And then on the next video, I'll take you through another part of the preparation, which is very much about tuning into your senses and tuning into the natural world. And we'll be doing things like finding little bits of nature. This is dropped it. This is a hazelnut that I've just picked up that a squirrel's already been into and eaten. Often I find that one of my bits of advice in nature is if the animals won't eat it, then we shouldn't eat it either. So this hazelnut's already gone, squirrels have already had it. But we'll be looking at little things like this, we'll be listening, we'll be smelling, just to help us tune into the natural world. So that's on the next video. So after you've done the challenge on this one, watch the next video, and there'll be some more information on there about how you can start developing more natural mindfulness in your life. So thank you for listening. Best wishes with everything. Enjoy the moments, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care now.